You are welcome to Tactics and Touchlines. Here we invite people who know much about the game to inform our viewers on what they need to know about games coming up. And we've seen you on Twitter, we've seen you on TikTok, we've been seeing the good work you've been doing, giving people analysis on the game, every in-depth details. And today we are inviting you on board to talk about the Barcelona-Real Madrid game, which is one of the biggest games in the world. When we talk about football, it's the Clássico between Real Madrid and Barcelona. We've seen Ronaldo, Messi with names coming up. And now we are even going to have names, people mentioning names like Vinicius against Rafinha and a whole lot of things. So today I want to invite you, come on board and take us through everything. When we talk about these games, what should we expect on Saturday evening? And how are both teams going to line up? And how can we saw Barcelona against Bayern Munich, we saw Real Madrid against Dortmund. They played against German clubs, which they dominated them. Now they are going against each other. How are they going to dominate each other? And what is the steps you are going to take us through? So firstly, let me just take us through some of the highlights or some of their head-to-head games. And I think in their last 5 games, in La Liga, Madrid has won the last 3. Barca has won 1, and 1 ended in a draw. And with the statistics on board, we are looking at Madrid in 5 games has scored 10 goals. Barca in 5 games has scored 19 goals, showing that these two teams are coming into this game with a lot of goals. So should we expect more goals? And what lineup are we also looking at for this game? And I know that you are the best when it comes to tactics. So what tactics are both coaches going to come up with, Ancelotti and Hansi Flick? So let's start with Real Madrid because they are playing home. So take us through the lineup you think Ancelotti will parade and what tactics is he going to go against Barcelona. Then we'll come to the Barcelona setup.
All right. Okay, thank you very much for bringing me on to the show. I'm so happy getting on to the show to talk with you. So,
Okay.
a Clásico, it can get bigger. Football can get bigger than a Clásico. It's something, just like you said, I've seen a lot of legends. Before Ronaldo and Messi, you saw Zidane, the Galacticos against Ronaldinho, Deco, and the young Messi and stuff like that. It's a match that is very much anticipated. And I will say, in the last 2 years or 3 years, I'm not expected to watch a Clásico than this one. I feel like this one is very much heated. Barca is doing well for themselves. And Real Madrid, they won the La Liga last season and they are the champions of Europe. And then coming at the back of them, the 2 clubs defeating 2 German clubs, almost with the same scoreline, 1-5-2, 3-1. You just say 3-0 deficit, and then two Brazilians from the respective teams scoring a hat. For Real Madrid, we do not really know with the formation that are going to come up because Ancelotti recently has been, under much pressure, with the recent performances. Though they have been scrapping out some results, but their performances has not been convincing. They struggle to dominate against teams, especially in the first half. They have been very, very woeful. I feel like the only 2 times that performed well in the first half in the league was against Celta Vigo, and then in the Champions League against Dortmund. Those are the times that have shown more dominance than the other. The other side, it just feels like, do not watch the Madrid first half. Come in the second half, they come out differently. I don't know what Ancelotti feeds them on the second half with. I don't know, with words or with food or with energy drink. He needs to feed the team with those things in the first half and not wait till the second half because sometimes it might get late. You consider a lot. The problem with the team Thibaut Courtois has been ruled out, because of a muscle injury. He's been ruled out for just 2 weeks. That's a good news in a way because it's not going to be ruled out for long, but it's also a bad news because he's losing out at the wrong time. This match is one of the matches that whenever La Liga releases their matches, you look up to when are we going to play Real Madrid and then Barcelona, for their Clásico. So he's going to lose out. It will be a huge miss, for the Madrid fans or Madrid team because 6'7" guy, he makes a lot of saves. For me, he's currently the best goalkeeper in the world. And he kept Madrid in that game against Dortmund. You saw a lot of saves made in the first half. That save he made against Julian Brandt, the captain of Dortmund, that from outside the team. And then the other save he made when the team were 2-2. We are 2-2. We are playing 2-2. He made a save with his left leg. So this match, we are expecting that Rooney will enter into the match. Rooney was there in the two clashes last season that Madrid won home and away. So we are expecting to start at goal. The other person that is missing out is Rodrigo. I think he had MRI scan today, so we don't know the extent of his injury yet till the results comes out. So he's going to start. Then we'll see the centre-back pair of Militao and Rudiger. Definitely.
The centre-back pairing of Militao and Rudiger. I think some people have been complaining about it's like their pairing isn't that good because we saw against they were exposed.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
The midfield pair of the defensive or the centre-back partnership of Militao and Rudiger is nothing to write home about. They have not. Rudiger is not yet at the same level or the same form he was last season. This season, I must say, positionally as a defender, he's not there. And then the two centre backs, they do not complement each other because they are both aggressive centre backs. You understand? Yeah. One has to be a more calmer, bring more composure and more calmness on the ball, and not two of them being too aggressive on it. So he leaves them with a lot of lapses. And then Militao, he has returned from his injury, but he has not yet recovered from that injury because he's not the same player. He only does well when he wants to defend the channel. But as a centre-back, if you have been watching Madrid football, you will notice that they are easily played through. Yeah, any good up-through passes, you've broken them. And I don't understand why it's happening because these two guys are very fast defenders. But then again, they are positioning and then they don't check their right and left shoulders. They don't track their runners. You understand? In that match at Dortmund, that second goal that was scored by the English young, winger Gittens, that's Malen crossed. Rudiger was positioned wrongly. He was supposed to defend the near post, but he was waiting for the cutback as well as Militao. The communication is not there. The synergy is not there.
Okay.
When you defend, one defends the near post, one stays with the striker, and not you both trying to be with the striker. Then he left a space between them and the goalkeeper for the pass to go through. But if it was depending on that, if he was defending that near post, he would have cleared that ball. Also, I will not fail to note the fact that Lucas Vázquez did not fail to track his man. So talking about Lucas Vázquez, he will be, starting at the right back. He's a makeshift right back. That's not his natural position. He started as a right winger, but I feel like he's being used as a right back because his output as a right winger in the modern advanced role is not good enough. So he's being a right back. So positionally, he's not good enough, and he doesn't know how to defend so well. But on the left-hand side, we will see Mendy. Ferland Mendy definitely going to start ahead of Fran Garcia. You understand? Mendy is one of the best.
Between Mendy and Fran Garcia, which one do you think is more defensive-minded? Because it's like we've seen Mendy in games where he's been exposed. We've seen Fran Garcia in games he's been solid. But between them, it's like the coach is not able to distinguish who to start. But we've seen times in bigger games, Mendy gets ahead of Fran Garcia. Which of them do you think on your side is defensively good to help Madrid?
Okay, well, defensively, Ferland Mendy is better than Fran Garcia. Okay. For me, the Ferland Mendy defensively and on one-on-one duels, as well as exposed on one-on-one situation, he's one of the best out there as a left back. The problem he has is with going forward. But Ferland Mendy is somebody that I know earlier in his career as a very good crosser of the ball. But with Ancelotti, I feel like it's more of a tactical role or tactical instruction from Ancelotti to defend as a back three, especially with Cavaja or Vázquez always going to join in the attack. Because you see most of the time, Rodrigo Chief goes to the left-hand side, leaving that right-hand side empty for Valverde, and then whoever is playing as a right back. So defensively, Mendy is stronger, but attacking-wise, Fran Garcia puts in a better shift than.
Okay. That's. So please, you can take us through the remaining.
So it's the goalkeeping position and then the defensive four. Then in the mid, with Madrid starting their last two matches now.
Yeah,
I think so. So I feel like he's going to start this one also because that's where it gets juicy. Luka Modric is still one of the best passers of the ball. What he doesn't have now is the energy and legs he has before now. He's
Yeah.
obviously old, 39 years. Yeah. But I think he will be needed in that match. He will be needed in that match because of Barcelona's high line, defensive high line. He will be the one that you entrust in that team. He's the go-to. He's the go-to man that you entrust to. Pinging a inch perfect pass behind the Barcelona's defense for
Yes.
Rodrigo and Mbappe to run onto. So I think he will be starting. And then I don't know if he's going to go. Okay, now that Rodrigo is injured, definitely Valverde is untouchable in that lineup. He's starting. Bellingham is going to start. Mbappe is going to start. Vini is going to start. The question now lies with who is going to pair in that midfield with Luka Modric. I feel like Valverde will be a makeshift right winger. Why or Camavinga, most especially if Camavinga will start alongside Modric in that midfield. So there will be a midfield pivot of Modric and Camavinga. Then we have Bellingham, who will be playing in a kind of number 10 role and as a striker to Mbappe. Then you have Valverde on the other right hand side, Vini Jr. on the left hand side, and obviously Kylian Mbappe as number 9.
So with this lineup, we've seen that in their last game against Dortmund, he went for a flat three midfield with Valverde, Jude Bellingham, and Modric, which from the football side, you could see their defensive work was a bit low because Modric doesn't have the legs, as you said, doesn't have the strength now at the age of 39. Bellingham is more offensive-minded. He's looking to get into the box and get the goals. Valverde, we know, naturally, he has the legs to track back and everything, but he is also offensive-minded because we know in the final third, when he gets the shot, he will just shoot and score. So going into a game against Barcelona, who will be playing high line, do you think with this three midfield will be okay to pair, or they need a Tchouaméni or a Camavinga to try and sit in front of Rudiger and Militao?
I just feel like that, but there are two formations team play in a match: in possession formation and then out of possession formation. In possession formation, or the one you see on paper is different from the one that is carried out on the pitch. Let's say, for instance, when Real Madrid has the ball, I feel like they will play like a 4-4-2-1, 4-2-3-1, or 4-2-4-4-2 formation, or a 4-4-2. But without the ball, this Bellingham is going to tuck into this half space as well as Valverde. Why these two guys press the two defenders and stuff like that. But these two guys, Camavinga or Luka Modric, will be in this midfield. Why these guys will be here? Then waiting to double up on whoever on Yamal, and then double up on Rafinha or whoever that will play on the left wing.
Yeah.
So that's how they will play out.
We're looking at Ancelotti. We know that when it comes to big games, he's not a coach who normally rush with a lot of tactics. It's like he allows the players to go on the field and play, but he will just be instructing them during the game. What do you think has been his secret when it comes to big games like this? Because we've seen him against Man City, we've seen him against Bayern Munich, where he's so relaxed. Though his team is maybe 2 goals down, even against Dortmund, he was 2 goals down, he was relaxed, but it was like he already know what will happen and he knows how the game will go. So he doesn't need to rush in players or put in a lot of effort, but he's relaxed and he understands whatever is happening. What do you think his secret is when it comes to in-game management?
I feel like Ancelotti is one of the best in terms of in-game management, and it's one of the underrated part of his game, as well as his defensive approach. He doesn't lay a lot of emphasis or give a lot of tactical information when the team has the ball. He relies on the individual brilliance of his players, to their team. But in terms of defensively, he sets them up in a very good shape to contain the opponent. He studies the opponent, studies their strengths and stuff like that, their patterns and their style of play. And then he sets his team out of position, how to defend, as we saw against Man City. And they are a team that is not afraid to defend, to show that they want to defend against you, to accept that you can have the ball and play better than them. But they will also find a way to defend against you and find a way to hurt you. You get? So
Yeah.
that's just the thing. They're not afraid or ashamed to sit at the back as a big team. No, they will sit on that low block, have the ball, then they hurt you during the transitions. So they will sit. Bellingham will sit, Valverde will sit, and then you have these two guys, Mbappe and Vini, roaming around, waiting for them to get on the ball. And then once they get on the ball, they will send it to Luka Modric to ping in a good pass to them. So that's how they are going to play
So
the
I want
match.
to add the Barcelona set too. Is Hansi Flick lucky to come in at a time that a good setup, bringing in some academy players for the La Masia into the main team, bringing in players like we've seen Kubasi, we've seen Ferlin Lopez, we've seen good players from the academy joining in. Is he lucky to have all these players, or you think this season he has also improved them to the extent that he has put his print on them, making them perform good, but it's not maybe Xavi just introducing them, but he's been able to also make them outperform what they are supposed to do.
I love the fact that you mentioned that Hernandez, because I've seen a lot of critics, especially Barcelona fans, talk down on the man. The man did a great work for Barcelona. He came to Barcelona at a time that no manager would want to accept that job. And he won them the league title in his first full season, and also the Spanish Cup. So Xavi Hernandez is a very good manager. He could have even taken them to semi-finals in the Champions League last season, if not for that silly mistake from Araujo. He did a very good job. And what people do not know, if Xavi Hernandez is still in Barcelona, they wouldn't play as bad as they were last season. They would have improved. You understand? Because the players, especially young players, they develop and they mature and they improve with gameplay.
Okay.
Lamine Yamal is not as good as he was last season. Already this season, he has equaled in terms of goal and assist ratio the number he had in La Liga last season, just after 10 games. And so that's it. Those players are still maturing. They are making they will make a lot of mistakes, especially when it's under you that are getting their first debut and stuff like that. It's bound to happen. I haven't seen much that. What I feel like what's it called? Hansi Flick has done is playing Rafinha in that number 10, giving him a free role to whatever part of the pitch to influence the game. And with Barcelona, we already know the lineup already. Of course, you have Koundé, you have Enaki Pena, you have Paul Kubasi, one of the best young defenders in the world and best passers of the ball. And then we have Inigo Martinez, Alejandro Balde, we have Casado, Marc Casado. I like that guy. That guy is such a player.
I think he has come into the team, and it will take De Jong a longer time to come back into the set.
Not only De Jong, Gavi too. If they want to displace him in that lineup, they have to play. They have to show it. It's not just by name. Because that boy, not only is he comfortable to receive the ball on the half turn, he complements Pedri very well. You understand?
Yes.
He's able to sit in front of these midfielders. He's in front of these defenders as a holding midfielder, as a number 6. Despite his height and small stature, he's not afraid. He's always calling for the ball. Give me the ball. I want to influence the play. He wants to make play. Play the little 1-2 with Gavi and Pedri in order to beat the press. He's not afraid to receive the ball on the half turn. He's not afraid to, turn, to break the lines. The way he breaks the lines, the way he finds Rafinha in the half spaces. He's very, very good at that young age. And, with Pedri, one of the best central midfielders in the world. He's somebody that you are not going to judge him by his goal assist contribution, even though this season he already has 3. But I'm not looking at that. When you watch Pedri, you just love football. If you have football eyes, when you watch Pedri, you just admire him. Pedri is so good with the ball. I feel like Pedri spent all his childhood watching Andres Iniesta and Xavi Hernandez, because he passes like Xavi Hernandez. He receives the ball like Xavi Hernandez, but he has the close ball control and technique of Iniesta.
Okay.
Like Iniesta. So most of the time when you watch him, you feel like is Iniesta or is Xavi still at Barcelona? And then Rafinha for me is one of the best players in the whole world currently. He's among the top 5 and he's not the number 5th person. In Europe top 5 league, he has played the most key passes. In Europe top 5 league, he's among the top 3 big chance creators and also the chance creators. Like this season, I don't know, he's been special. He's looking more galvanized. He's not only scoring goals, assisting, or creating chances. He is key. For me, he's the most important and the best Barcelona player this season.
I saw one of a video you stated that the 2025 Ballon d'Or, he has already entered his name into it. And the funny was, this season, before the season started, Barca were chasing, that is, Nico Williams. And most of the Barcelona fans went to the extent of even taking the number 11 jersey, making prints of Nico Williams' name at the back, trying to downplay Rafinha this season, that he's not part of their team. They don't need him. They need to sell him, a whole lot of things. Then there were even deals. He was offered to Chelsea one time. He was offered to clubs in Saudi. Then all of a sudden, he was like, no, he wouldn't go. He wants to stay and show. And I think his staying was one important thing because he saw that some Brazilians have been through the Barca ranks and they couldn't perform. I think after Neymar, we had Malcolm coming in Barcelona. We had, I think, Victor Rookie also coming to Barcelona.
Yes. He's on loan to Liberty.
And all those Brazilians couldn't get that type of level Neymar was able to put himself at Barcelona. So there was a lot of pressure on him to do it or leave. And he took the challenge of doing it. And now, arguably in the La Liga, he's one of the best players. What do you think he improved in his game? And did Hansi Flick, also being a coach, played a big factor in him also being at this level?
Yeah, I watched Rafinha in Leeds. You know, even though most of the time he's being deployed by Marcelo Bielsa to play at the right wing, but you see him a lot of times in the number 10 position. He wants to get on, or he wants to influence the play. He wants to play make. You know, he's somebody that not only what he offers you with his crossings, dangerous crossings, or his assist or goals, because he can hit the ball, can hit the free kicks, he can hit from anywhere.
Yeah.
One of the most important part of his game is his pressing.
So I want to know, Rafinha, has it been he trying to challenge the Barcelona fans that he's the player for the team, or is more of Hansi Flick has made some changes to his game that has improved him this season?
I feel like what Hansi Flick has done is to give him that free role, you know, to find spaces between the opposition's lines and then get the ball there and affect the play there. And not just being a mere line hugger, you know, like maybe Yamal going to hug the lines and then isolate himself on a one-on-one situation with the defender, try to beat your man, get the crossing in, or create a chance for yourself to score. Now, what he does more is receive the ball and try to find a pass for his teammate or run, you know, attack the space and shoot or assist. So he's so good this season, and you can see it with the returns in terms of goal and assist. He's had 15 or 16 goal and assist contribution this season. So he's the key part. He's the key part and one of the most important players in that Barcelona team.
And do you think Barcelona, though they are having financial issues and a whole lot of things, do you think going with this young players for the whole season, that is the league, the Copa del Rey, the Champions League, wouldn't it affect them? Or you think this young group of players have the capacity to go through the season without not feeling like maybe not going, like having less energy to continue, or with the coach involved, they will be able to go through the whole season, maybe get to the Champions League semi-final, win the La Liga, win the Copa del Rey, and establish themselves as one of the best teams this season?
Well, I think they wouldn't struggle because as a young kid, you can actually play every day. You know, you have the energy is there to burn. You know, you have not accumulated a lot of fatigue in your life. You know, when younger people almost want to play every day, so playing between 3 days and stuff is nothing for them. You know, and then if you look at Barcelona now, you see that they have kind of have depth. Take for instance their first team now, or their first choice of midfielders in that pivot role is Pedri and Casado. If those two are not around, Gavi and Frankie de Jong is available now. and then Daniel Olmo is also there.
Yeah.
Also playing that number 10 position, play as a force left winger, So, and then there is Fermin Lopez. If Daniel Olmo is not there, Fermin Lopez can be there. So they have got squad depth now, and they can be able to rotate as the matches goes on.
Let's go into the game. Let's look at Santiago Bernabeu as one stadium on its own. We know that it's one of the stadiums Madrid don't get to lose. This season, they've gone a lot of games, even dating back to almost 40 games not losing. And do you think the stadium would play a role in this game? And if it would play a role, is it in favor of Madrid and Barcelona are not going to get a chance because the stadium would be a factor? Or you think Hansi Flick, on the other hand, can come up with the tactics to make Real Madrid lose their first game at the Bernabeu?
Well, the funny thing, just like you said, Real Madrid, that match, one of the juicy part of the match is that it's only Barcelona that we're going to protect their record, because in La Liga history, Barcelona had longest unbeaten run with 43 games. And
okay,
now has gone on 42 matches.
Okay.
So for them to match that record, they have to draw or win against Barcelona. And if
Barcelona
Barcelona want them to match that record or even go ahead to break it, the onus lies on their hand. There is a way the universe tends to align this thing or football. So Barcelona will not say, others allow them. You have to do it yourself. And then in La Liga this season, Real Madrid has a perfect home record. They have won 5 games. They have the best team in terms of home games. Why away? Barcelona also have a good record, and I think they are the best team in terms of away. So it's going to be a juicy match. It's not a match that Madrid want to lose in front of their, fans. And then their players are sparked up, that with that win against Borussia Dortmund going 2-0 down, they want to make maximum use of the fans who will be their 12th man on that day. So it's going to be a very, very heated clash, a very, very entertaining, and it's something that will take a mistake or lapse of concentration from the other side, and will be a tactical masterclass from either those of the side. Whether Ancelotti masters the act of breaking that Barcelona style line, with the speed of Mbappe and Vinicius, or with the Madrid's defense being weak and shaky this season, it leaves a lot of room to be exploited. So we see if the likes of Rafinha, who is in a good form, Lewandowski also, who is the top goal scorer in terms of goal assist in the whole Europe League, and then we see Yamal, who has been quite very impressive this season. So it's going to be a matter of who takes their chance more, who wants it more. So it's something that you can't really predict, but there will be goals in that match. There will be goals.
Okay, so if you are Hansi Flick going into this game against Bayern, he went for a high line. The line was so high that you could see that they came to the center line trying to wait for Bayern. In this game against Vinicius Mbappe, we know they are one of the fastest people when it comes to football. Are you going to still go for the high line, or you think it's time for them to at least draw back a little?
I was very surprised with the tactical approach of Hansi Flick against Bayern Munich, who also have some players, and then they have one of the best passers of the games, or two of the best passers of the games, in the likes of Kimmich in that deep line playmaking role, and then you have Kane, who can drop deep in the number 10 position, receive the ball, and then play it to the wingers to run onto. But then again, Kompany was naive. He didn't execute his plan well. He preferred to switch the balls and avoid the presses. Once Barcelona loses the ball, they trigger the press. They press in numbers, trying to win the ball back. But he preferred to switch the ball to the flanks so that Barcelona can, avoid that press. But it didn't work. It didn't work very, very well. So I'm looking into this match with Ancelotti going there to, if Bayern Munich, if Hansi Flick did not alter his tactics against Bayern Munich, I don't think he will alter it going to Madrid. He wants to play. He's not afraid of what you can do to them. He's afraid of he's focused on what he can do to you.
Yeah.
And so if he's not afraid of what you can do to them and more focused on what you can do to you, that's where the problem is. Because you also have to look at your weakness and what the opponents can do to you. You can't try that against the speed stars of Mbappe and Vini Jr. I know when basic wingers, they thrive more on high lines. Low blocks, they sometimes get lost because they don't have any space to run onto. But in high lines, and when you are playing a high line, you are just an inch perfect pass away from being exploited or going 1-0 down. So if like he should drop the line a little, he should drop the line a little, to their own defensive third. That's not good. If he does that, we might see Barcelona go 3-0 down. I'm serious. Because you don't know what will happen. If he does that, it will not be a good ending.
And on Real Madrid side, we saw against Dortmund, they were exposed in defense. Dortmund had a chance to go 2 goals ahead. Do you think Ancelotti should be careful, especially going against Barcelona? We know they're a free scoring side, scoring 19 goals in 5 games. If you expose your defense that much, maybe you may go down by 3 goals or 4 goals in the first half. So what do you think Ancelotti needs to do with the defensive pairing, as you mentioned earlier, between Rudiger and Militao, which you think the connection is not that great? We know Vasquez, on the other hand, is not a natural right back. Coming into this game against Rafinha will be very difficult. So what are the tactics do you think Ancelotti needs to put in place to try and stop Barcelona from getting into their final third or even creating enough chances to convert goals?
I feel like after conceding 2-0 against Dortmund, and then with looking at how the way they have considered this season, most 70% of their training this week going to this Clássico will be on the defensive parts. And then it's high time Militao and Rudiger looked at themselves and tell themselves the truth. You are very much experienced, but you're making the mistakes of youngsters. Primary basic defending mistakes. You are not checking your shoulders. You are not tracking runners. And then you have Barcelona side who attack the space. Whenever they see a space, they run onto it. Rafinha keeps running to space. Lewandowski keeps doing that. Yamal. If they try that, they will be. And Barcelona is one of the most sides in the whole of Europe top 5 league. They will be punished heavily. And it's not when you concede, you start being angry, beating yourself. No, you have to do your work so that you don't get angry. So I feel like they have to stay compact. They have to be in sync with each other. They have to know when to drop the line, and they have to also learn to track their runners, defend the near post and the far post. And not only the defensive core, the midfield should also learn how to defend, to help the defense. They have to shield the defense. They are not doing their works and very well. So that's just it. And they have to be concentrated throughout the game.
Okay, so looking at both teams scoring, Madrid has scored that's 10 in 5, Barca has scored 19 in 5. Do you think we are going to see a lot of goals in this game?
Yeah, I think there will be goals in this game because.
Okay, so if you ask what will be like, how many goals should we expect in this game?
I feel like I'm seeing 2-2. I'm seeing also 4-2.
Okay, yeah. I'm seeing 2 and 4-2.
I'm seeing 2-2 or 4-2.
Okay. Yeah. And 4-2, if you have to take your prediction on the game, 4-2, who are you expecting to get the 4 goals if it's going to end in a 4-2?
I feel like Real Madrid will win that match.
Okay.
Football is not like 1 + 1. It's not like mathematics that you will win other people that you've done this and then, or that other teams have played well against Madrid or have exploited their defense. It doesn't mean you can do that.
Okay.
You can win this person. You can win A, can win B. B will not win C, but C will win A. So it happens like that. And I feel like in this match, the defense of Real Madrid, they will want to step up.
Okay. So looking at the game, let's look at players to watch. At least 2 players from each side. On the Madrid side, which are those 2 players you think we should have our minds on? Like we should watch them in this game.
Okay. For Real Madrid, the 2 players to watch is Vini Jr. one, obviously, and then Mbappe. Why I called Mbappe? He will be looking at himself. I can do better. And if you watch the match against Dortmund, in that first half, he was quite brighter than Vini Jr. He showed himself more. He had nice touches. He did well. He did well, all but not score, but he had an assist. So I feel like he will want to show himself. And he scored some goals, against Barcelona when he was in PSG. And in highlights, it is where he does better in highlights because he have a lot of space to run onto.
Okay. And on the Barcelona side, which two players should we be looking at in this game?
Obviously, we're going to look at Rafinha, and then I think Pedri. Pedri also will have a very good game. Why for Yamal is that he's going against Mendy. Mendy is quite good on one-on-one situation. It's not going to be like what we saw against Davies or other defenders. I think Mendy will keep him quiet unless he changes position.
Okay. So we're looking at him changing position. Do you think it will be something that will be playing on Hansi Flick's mind, thinking, okay, going against Mendy, maybe tactically I'll let him be shifting more into the middle or trying to take him one-on-one to create more spaces, because we know if Mendy doesn't join Rudiger and Militao, maybe their defense becomes vulnerable. So is it one tactics and Hansi Flick will be looking at? And in-game management, we know that mostly games are being won when the game gets to start. The first 20 minutes, you get to know your opponents are bringing in a new dimension into the game. When it comes to in-game management, between Ancelotti and Hansi Flick, who would you pick as the best in-game management coach?
Ancelotti, hands down.
Okay.
Why? Because he's faced a lot of top managers in the biggest competition, and then he's at class there.
Okay. So I think we've gotten your scoreline, we've gotten everything relating to, and we are very happy that you are giving us in-depth understanding of everything, even telling us about stuff relating to how Militao and Rudiger needs to function. Looking at the Barcelona side, we looked at a whole lot of things with their double pivot pairing. We are looking at this is one of the best in the league. If Gavi and De Jong needs to come in, they need to put in more work because there's no way they are going to take these people out. After everything, you've given us a high line on, we're looking at the score lines. You are seeing more goals happening, a 2-2 or a 4-2 happening, and you are tipping Real Madrid to take the day because it's at the Bernabeu. We will just be happy to have you again when after the game, we just review the game and see how it went compared to every discussion we had. But before we go, we know that you are I've always been telling people, you are one of the top people when it comes to football analysis on Twitter. We've seen people bantering and a whole lot of things. You'll be seeing people coming up with stats, saying a whole lot of things, which sometimes are not true. They just want to put up something to show that they know much about football. But with you give more in-depth analysis on the game. Maybe someone is watching us today. The person wants to know about your handles. The person wants to know about your pages so that the person would come and follow, get more in-depth. The person watched today and was happy about it. So I beg, take us through a little about your TikTok handle, your X handle, how they are supposed to locate you on there, and what they should expect from you.
Okay. Well, Football Matter. So on on TikTok, football. You spell football as normal football, and then matter Matter. But on Twitter, my is Football Matter, but the ball is BOL and not BALL. So it's football.
Okay.
You still have to expect a lot from me. I'm just getting started, and then football is not just about banters and stuff like that. There is more to football, and it's not just about stats. There are a lot of players you have to appreciate just watching them, and you have to talk about them. So that's what I'm about. Understanding the game more, explaining the game, the different formations. And if you go through my profiles, you see I have explained a lot of football positions, who are number registers, the number 8 and the number 10. So with me, you will unlearn, and relearn football.
That is very good. And I know with time to come, as you stated, it's been like 2 months you started this, and we know that with time to come, maybe when we need anything relating to in-game tactics, we'll just be running to your page or rushing to your page to find out, because though after the game, some of us, we just watch the game and be looking at what is the scoreline, we are done. But you give us in-depth analysis on what each player did. I remember I watched your video on the Chelsea-Liverpool where you talked about Caicedo being very good on the ball. And that game I was watching with a friend, and I told a friend that the best player on the pitch for Chelsea is Caicedo and Lavia. And he's a Chelsea fan. He was like, they should take Caicedo off because he's not seeing what he's doing in the game. So when I saw your video and I showed it to him that he should now look at what you are saying. Then later he sat down, we rewatched the game again. Then he was like, yeah, it's true, because everything you said about Caicedo, even start comparing Caicedo and Gravenberg, you could see that both of them, Caicedo outmastered him. So that was when he got to understand. So after that day, he just followed your X handle to now get more in-depth about it. And I told him that football is not just about just watching, because being a fan, at that moment, you are just watching with emotions. You are not understanding the game. You are just watching because you want one player to score, you want one player to do this, you want one player to do this. But if later you have to sit back and listen to someone who is good on the ball, understands the tactical side of the game, you'll be able to know that this player you were seeing, that you were calling for him to be subbed off, he was even the best player on the pitch. So I'm very grateful for you coming on the podcast, coming to educate us on everything about football. And we hope to be inviting you more on more tactical analysis in the game.
It's my pleasure. I'll always be available.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.